Hello, hello, hello. My name's Elder, and welcome back to another very special episode of The Open Debate. What's going on today? Well, we're talking about a problem that's been going on in China. China has a problem with kidnapping, apparently. So, after last night, the stream about Onision, I ended up going down a pretty dark rabbit hole here on YouTube and stumbled across something that I've heard of previously, but never realized just how bad of a problem it really was. And so, kidnapping in China, apparently a super big problem. This video will, like most videos, get demonetized and thrown in the backs of the ranks of YouTube shadow banning algorithms. So if you like what you see, you like the channel, you want to help support us, share, liking the video, those things are great, commenting as well. If you'd like to help support the channel monetarily, you can donate through Streamlabs, have a message pop up on screen, PayPal, Patreon, always an option, links in the description below. But let's just get into the story and what's been going on, guys. Just quickly, when you type in kidnapping in China, in Wikipedia, it says, just Wikipedia, take it as it is, but an estimated 70,000 children are kidnapped in China every year, although the Chinese government reported fewer than 10,000 kidnappings. According to the United States Department of United States Department of State estimates closer to 20,000. Some children are reported to have been sold into adoption overseas. So it's just a very large problem. And even just going in and reading a bit about the history, to all our readers in Canada, it's a little awkward, so we'll get to the point. Oh, they're asking for money. Kidnapping in China has its history since the ancient times. Such issues have been heavily studied and discussed by investigators and researchers since at least the 1980s. Kidnapping has become a bigger issue than ever in the country. Since the 1990s, tougher laws against the kidnapping have been established. Chinese authorities have also investigated in this regard. So essentially, like, one of the videos that I stumbled across, I'll just pull it up for you guys here so you have a context of what I'm talking about. And so these are apparently CCTV footage, so be warned, this is a little graphic of children literally being abducted off of the streets in China. A compilation video. Take it as you will. Like I said, forewarning, we'll watch it and just go over what's going on. So you can see there's a kid walking down the street here. And Facebook likes to reload. That's the way she goes, boys and girls. Give it a little reload and we'll get into it. I pulled all these up last night, like literally when I was going through this, so we will get into it for you now. But yeah, essentially there's just like multiple children walking down the street, people grab them, run away, and nobody does anything. So once again, the person's pointing, kid gets snatched, and somebody runs off. This is in broad daylight as well. This is a little bit different. There's someone in a car, they throw them into the car, and the mother's right there looking around. I'm sure people have seen this video before. A child being snatched out of the store, and people actually come to the rescue of this kid. Some guy lurking around in the back, looking in, seeing what's going on. He's literally kidnapping this woman. He's just taking her. Like, look at this. Another one, broad daylight. Walking down the street. Little kid, mother. They just take him. Like, look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And there are people fighting them off now. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes there's nobody to help defend. Like, look how crazy this is. Like, could you imagine this happening in America? No. They just pulled up, take the kid. Pull up on the bike, kid sitting there, snatch him and go. All the kids run after, like, what the fuck are the kids supposed to do? Right? Like, this is absolutely wild. So, whoa. So I wanted to put it into a bit of context for you. and just show you some of the just videos. Those are CCTV videos that you can see. There are some articles. If you just type in kidnapping in China to Google, police dismiss report that 200,000 children abducted in China yearly. And so, what does this have to say? A senior police official dismissed a state media report that some 200,000 children disappeared in China every year. So, the China National Radio reported the figure in a nighttime newscast on Saturday, fueling an ongoing debate about how children should be better protected from exploitation and harm. Over the last weeks, several reports of sexual abuse of primary children have caused an outcry throughout China. Cases of child trafficking appear regularly in Chinese newscasts. According to incomplete statistical figures, around 200,000 children disappear in China every year. Only 0.1% are found and returned, the report said. China does not publish figures on how many children are abducted or sold every year. Right? So keep that in mind. China does not publish figures on how many children are abducted or sold every year. How many children are actually going missing in China? Police denied reports that this figure is untrue. Police denied reports. This figure is untrue. There is no basis for it. Chen Shek, the head of Ministry of Public Security's department in charge of handling children abductions, said in a microblog post. The office was set up in 2007. Last month, Chen's department said it solved 54,000 cases of trafficked children between April 2009 and the end of 2012. Like, that is a wild amount. It's big props to them for solving those cases, but think about the amount of children going missing. 54,000 cases that were solved between 2009 and 2012. Hey, thanks for joining us there, dear Wonderbar. I'll tell you here in a bit, actually. It does tell you how much they're sold for. Right here. The trafficking industry was booming, Chen said. Traffickers buy children for about 30,000 yen, or yuan, and sell them for about 70,000 to 90,000. So, as they say, the business is booming. This is actually pretty disturbing to think about and see. In 2009, Chen's department was set up an online database for missing children, but it only contains 60 cases. And when you go to the online database, it doesn't come up. It doesn't come up for me. It may be because it's a Chinese government website, but probably put me on some sort of watch list as well. But yeah, so that's interesting. I stumbled across this after watching a video from ADV. I think it's still up there. ADV China or whatever. Serpent ZA, dude who is a Chinese expat, white guy going around China. Well, he's from South Africa, but his color is white. 10,000 US. And so he goes around and just like talks about China, how it is, and he's been there for a very long time. And he's usually very positive, but he was outlining this social experiment, right? Social experiment that was going around, showing the reactions of people when these abductions happen, and it's very telling. Obviously, social experiments are not always to be trusted. They can often be faked, but when you watch these scenarios, a couple of the situations could obviously be faked, but when you're in such public areas where there's so many people around and nobody does anything, you can't fake that many people. So we're going to get into that video here for you now. Won't hold it against you any longer, but yeah, they cite that statistic as well here in the video. There are about 200,000 missing children in China each year. Only 1/100th of missing children can be found, which is absolutely, like, I just wanted to bring this topic up to the community. If you've never really fully looked into it, this is an actual problem. You may not agree with Chinese politics or the government of China, but the people of China are still human beings. They don't deserve to be living in a situation where you're in fear of being kidnapped, literally off the streets in broad daylight, or to have your children kidnapped. Like, this is actually fucked. And so, social justice warriors, get out there and start advocating for something that actually matters. But yeah, we're going to watch the video. Essentially, they just set up this guy. He's saying, hey guys, what's going on? And he wants to set up a child kidnapping prank where he's going to put chloroform over the kid's mouth, pick him up, and just run away with him. So here he is, all these people around, grabs him, runs. And look at this. This is what Buddy pointed out from that channel. When you watch these guys looked at it. Look at, they're just kind of looking. You see this guy right there? Looking at his wife, kind of having a little laugh about it. They're laughing, seeing it like, oh, that guy he just got kidnapped, did he? Like, it's a normal everyday thing. This woman sitting on a bench as he's kidnapping this child right in front of her. And she sits there. Doesn't say a word. Thanks for joining us, John. Yeah, like, it's absolutely wild to see. It's insane. But seriously, this group of three girls. Look at this. This guy comes up, grabs them, runs off. And they just stare there. The one girl looks back, looks like she may have seen the camera, but she's not saying anything. And initially they didn't see the camera unless they had seen it before and we just didn't see. This is absolutely messed up. Just runs out of a store in front of those two people and they literally just keep walking. It's like, nope, don't even look at them. Just keep going. Like, what? What is this? Actually. Dunzo, thanks for joining us in the chat. Yo, this is the one that I was talking about. So look how many people are around, right? And he just runs off for so long. He's running away with that kid. Like, I'm going back for that one. Like, as you just saw, look at this. That's wild. Running down the street, not one person batting an eye, not even anybody looking. Yeah, I'm glad to have you here for the live stream there, John. Like, look at this. In the middle of public, right in front of people, literally in front of specific people, and they do nothing. Imagine this was happening in America. So they do. Here, they're going to get into a mall situation, an even more crowded situation. It's actually just unbelievable to think about this ever going on and not one person doing something. Even if they thought it was a social experiment, look how many people are around. Not everybody there can know. Like, imagine seeing that. I can't even think about it. Be lucky that you live in a place that you do. So, at the beginning of this, they do a social experiment in America to see how people would react, but I don't know how. Like, this is probably taken from another channel or something. I'm not too sure how real this one would be, but this is like a difference of reaction. This is what you would expect to see happening. He's like, let's go. The girl doesn't want to go. The girl said she didn't know him. Right? So he's just not having it. Struggling. He's just like fighting with the guy. And then just like, yeah, it doesn't look like your kid, blah, blah, blah. You can hear in the background the other guy's talking to the little girl right now, asking her if she knows the guy, and she's saying, no, I don't know who he is, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, that's reiterating what's happening, right? And he gets him on the ground, yada, yada, yada. He's going to detain the guy until the police get there. And it ends up just like, he's like, oh, it's a prank, bro, it's a prank. Oh my God, it's a prank. But they're not really laughing. I'm not too sure if it's real, but this is what you would expect to see. Not, not that. Not people just walking away. Like, you would expect to see something a little bit more dramatic, especially in such an open place, such a public place. Like, this is kind of mind-boggling. I would never expect this to be real, but it's, I don't know. I'm going from the assumption that I don't have the full story. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure like what is going on. I'm gonna look into it further, but I wanted to bring this up to the community here. Bring it up, the awareness to everybody. Just talk about it, because we talk about things that we feel are important all the time. And sometimes when you take a step back and you look at a situation as though you were in it. There are people around the world that are going through things that are actually very serious, and we live in a great place, America, Canada, many places throughout the United Kingdom. There are lots of places throughout the world that are doing very, very well right now, but also places that have very serious social issues. So this was another one from Serpent ZA. How bad is child kidnapping in China? Which is not the first video that I saw, actually. It was just a video about him talking about different things that were bad in China. And in this video, he talks about being on the train and having this beggar woman come on. And he sees this girl with this young boy on his back. This is a photo that he had snapped while they were on the train. He noticed that the kid was pretty groggy and almost looked drugged. And so... whatever, he snapped the picture, the girl got upset, and that was that. The next day he was back on the train, and a different woman got on the train and started doing the exact same thing with a baby on her back that looked very similar, and he snapped some more pictures. And later upon review, he found out that it was the same child, and he ends up telling a story about how he got her arrested and all this different stuff. But the point is that a lot of panhandlers, and there will be groups of people that these are literal organizations and gangs that use these children, as well as child trafficking. Like it's an actual business that people are using, like slavery, I guess you could consider it. Child trafficking, slavery, whatever you want to call it. Like it's messed up, and I thought that it was something that we should be discussing. So what'd you say there, Der? Let me tell you a true story. You worked with a doctor from China back when you were working in organ transplants. He told me in China they don't wait for volunteers, they just take organs. Yeah, we've heard about that with those people. Can't remember what they're called. The Uyghurs or whatever, where they were harvesting organs from Muslims in China. But, America's racist, China says. What'd you say there, Dunzo? There's a movie called One Child Nation, that I'd recommend, that they have been very much desensitized to horrible things like this. Yeah, I feel like I've seen pieces of that documentary, or movie, whichever you want to call it, but not too much. The more that I look into China, there seems to be a very large disconnect between the types of cultures that we have here and there. The idea of nationalism is very, very strong, much stronger than in America even, where you would assume nationalism, not white supremacists or white nationalists, no, nationalism, being proud of your country and being a patriot. Those things are so huge in China, and it's even considered negative to be talking about what we're talking about because it makes China's government look bad because they're not doing enough to fix the problem. It's figure your shit out. The government is not end all be all. It's no higher power. Yeah. Der Wonderbar is saying that was 22 years ago and it sounded unbelievable at the time, but now I know he was telling the truth. And yeah, it's one of those things where until the media exposes things like this, until people start talking about them, there is no way to actually know whether or not things are being factually recorded or being just told correctly. The internet and social media has really allowed individuals to spread information and spread knowledge and awareness of things that are happening to them directly, as well as CCTV footage, and just the ability to spread information so quickly has allowed people to not be able to hide behind lies, I guess you could say. So yeah, I don't know. I find this to be an absolutely disheartening situation, something that we should take seriously and look further into. Is there a way that we can do anything from here? I'm not sure, but those are things that would also be worth looking into. Where these children are going when it comes to adoption and child trafficking, things like that. Are they being sold overseas? Where are they being sold to? Look at this from a school. Imagine sending your child to school and and them being kidnapped, or literally sitting there in the store, like this woman was, sitting there in the store with your kid, and some man walks over and just grabs him, tries to run away. What would you do as a young mother or a young father by yourself? Thanks for joining us there, Noodle. Someone's not recording this, so these are all CCTV videos. So it's just from security footage, or it's all security footage. So I don't know. I'm passing the question off over to you guys. How do you feel about the situation? How do you feel as though we could do anything to help progress this situation? How do you feel? What do you think about this? Do you think that this is just as big of a problem within the United States and Canada? Thanks for that, Dunzo. Do you think this is just as much of a problem within the United States, Canada? Do you think that these are faked videos, as some people are saying in the chat there? Do you think that, because I certainly don't, but do you think they are? Because that's also a valid opinion. Whatever you feel. This is the open debate, and so I thought I'd bring it up to you guys. Let me know how you feel, because personally, I'm almost at a loss for words now, just kind of rambling on, because I could not imagine having a child and having the fear of them being taken from me in broad daylight. That wouldn't happen. I'd kill the fucking people. No, I wouldn't do that, but I would probably fight to the death for my child. That makes sense. I wouldn't just go and kill somebody, but I would fight to my death. I would fight until they killed me or I got my child back. Plain and simple. Yep. Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to pass the question over to you guys. How do you feel? Yep. My name's Elder. I think you guys know the rest. Be your own hero, kids.